Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, my name is Casey. Today, we're continuing Brand Spotlight, my mini-series where we look at fashion brands through a bigger lens. Not just what they sell, but where they came from, what they believed in, what made them stand out, and why some brands stay powerful while others lose their edge. COS is one of those brands that looks very simple at first glance. A white shirt, a black dress, a pair of wide-leg trousers, a wool coat, a plain knit sweater. When you see the full look, it feels polished, it feels modern, it feels more expensive than it actually is. And I think that is what makes COS so interesting. It sits in that space between high street fashion and designer fashion. It is not luxury, but it borrows a lot from the language of luxury. Clean lines, structured shapes, quiet colors, strong fabrics, and styling that feels very intentional. COS stands for Collection of Style. It launched in London in 2007 as part of the H&M Group, but from the beginning, it was positioned differently from the main H&M brand. Instead of chasing very fast, obvious trends, COS was created to feel more refined, more design-focused, and more timeless. H&M Group described the original COS customer as someone who was non-showy but design alert, which honestly still feels like a very accurate description of the brand today. When you look at COS, the brand identity is very clear. The clothes usually have a quieter kind of appeal. A shirt might be oversized but the collar is crisp. A dress might be plain, but the shape is sculptural. A pair of trousers might be simple, but the fabric and drape make it feel elevated. That is really the COS formula. It takes wardrobe basics and gives them a design point of view. I think COS feels especially relevant now because fashion has been leaning into this idea of quiet luxury, elevated basics, and clothes that do not scream for attention. Even if someone is not buying designer pieces from the Row, Jill Sander, or Kate, they might still want that same feeling: clean, expensive looking, and easy to style. This is where COS found its moment. In the list index for Q4 2025, COS ranked number 3 among the hottest brands alongside luxury names like Saint Laurent and Miu Miu. Then in Q1 2026, COS was still in the top 10, which is interesting because most brands on that list are luxury fashion houses. That says a lot about where shoppers are right now. A lot of people still want beautiful clothes, but not everyone wants to spend luxury level prices. COS gives people access to the aesthetic of minimalist luxury, but in a more attainable way. And I think that is why the brand works so well for fashion content too. It gives us something to talk about beyond just what is trendy. It opens up a bigger conversation about why some clothes look expensive, why some basics feel more stylish than others, and how much of good style is really about proportion, fabric, and silhouette. When I think of COS, I think of 3 words: shape, structure, and restraint. The brand uses a lot of familiar pieces: button-down shirts, tailored trousers, wool coats, midi dresses, leather bags, knitwear, blazers, and t-shirts. But they usually do something small to make those pieces feel more considered. COS itself describes its collections as rooted in quality, lasting design, craftsmanship, innovation, and materiality. And this is why the clothes can look expensive even when the outfit is very simple. COS understands that a basic does not have to be plain. A basic can still have presence. For example, a simple black dress from COS might not have sequins, cutouts, or a dramatic print, but it might have a strong A-line shape, a beautiful neckline, or a fabric that holds its form. A white shirt might not be reinventing the wheel, but if the cotton is crisp and the cut has volume in the right place, it suddenly feels much more styled. That is something I think we can all take from the brand. Sometimes, the piece does not need more details, it just needs better details. One thing I like about COS is that it proves simple dressing does not have to be boring. Sometimes if people hear minimalist style, and they think it means wearing plain clothes with no personality. But when it is done well, minimalist dressing is not really about having nothing going on. It is about being more selective with what gets attention. Instead of a bold print, the focus might be the shape of the sleeve. Instead of a bright color, the focus might be the texture of the knit. Instead of a trendy detail, the focus might be the way the trousers fall over the shoes. And personally, I think this is where COS is useful as styling inspiration, even if you do not buy from the brand. It teaches us to look at clothes differently. Instead of asking, is this piece trendy? We can ask, does this piece have a good shape? Does the fabric look nice? Does it work with what I already own? Can I style it in more than one way? That kind of thinking makes a wardrobe feel more intentional. It also makes shopping less emotional and more practical, because you are not just buying something because it looks good in one photo. You are thinking about whether it has enough strength to actually work in your closet. Although, COS is not perfect. And I think this is important to say, especially for those of us who are petite or who do not naturally fit into oversized silhouettes. I would not say COS is automatically flattering on everyone. I think it is more accurate to say that COS is very good at creating a mood. The mood is clean, modern, effortless, and expensive looking. But when you shop the brand, you still have to be selective. For petites especially, I would be careful with pieces that have too much fabric, very dropped shoulders, extra long hems, or stiff oversized shapes. But I do think the brand is still useful for inspiration. You can borrow the idea of cleaner lines, stronger fabrics, simple color palettes, and one interesting shape per outfit without copying the full oversized look. For me, COS is most interesting for pieces where the design really matters. Coats, tailored trousers, structured shirts, knitwear, simple dresses, and accessories. These are the categories where shape and fabric can make the biggest difference. But I would still check the fabric composition, the fit, and how often you realistically see yourself wearing the piece. COS can look elevated, but that does not automatically mean every item is a forever piece. And because the brand is more expensive than regular fast fashion, I think it is worth being a little more critical before buying. The best COS pieces are the ones that feel simple enough to wear often, but special enough that they do not feel basic. That is the sweet spot. I think the biggest style lesson from COS is this: simple clothes can still have impact. Sometimes, what makes an outfit feel expensive is not the brand name. It is the proportion. It is the fabric. It is the shape. It is the restraint. It is knowing when to let one detail do the work instead of adding too much. And maybe that is why COS feels so relevant right now. It gives people a version of modern dressing that feels polished, but still wearable. Minimal, but not empty. Simple, but not boring. So I would love to know what you think. Do you like the COS style, or do you find it too oversized and too plain? And if you have ever tried anything from COS, what pieces do you think are actually worth it? Let me know your thoughts below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.